what red flags do I avoid in relationships? So the red flags I avoid in relationships is somebody who like to argue. 'Cause I ain't gonna tongue wrestle with you. You know what I'm saying? I say what I gotta say, you say what you gotta say, we reason a little bit, and that's it. We ain't gonna go back and forth on it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like people being mean to me or mean to anyone. So I feel like if you're mean to other people, you'll be mean to me. So it's always easy to be nice to people when you like them, but it's the people that you don't like and how well you treat them that's going to determine who you are as a person. So if you're mean in any way, you can't do that.
A man that don't take care of you, for sure.
If they smell.
Lies.
Trifling women, and these women that hang out here like this.
Someone who is not open to healthy communication. If we don't agree on a topic and you think that that means that we're in an argument, I can't do it.
Noisy chewers.
Biggest red flag is you can't marry somebody for the potential, you have to marry them for what they are. Because you can't bank on large changes or things that you already don't agree with them on possibly changing. You are marrying that person where they are, and you have to love that person in that moment.
Passive aggressiveness. Can't stand passive aggressive. Went to prison.
Lack of support and protection. Red flag.
Red flags I try to avoid in the relationships is maybe getting in heated arguments. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can get in heated arguments and people say things that they don't mean because they was emotional. You say emotional things that they don't mean, you know what I mean? And then you always come back and regret the things that you said. That's why I always tell people, if you're gonna say something, say it from your heart. That way you know you really mean it. Because most times when you speak from your heart and you say something, you ain't gonna regret it nor you gonna change. You meant what you said, you know what I mean? I meant what I told you. You know, so that's why I try to avoid heated arguments and stuff like that. I'm all about love and bringing the peace to a relationship.
Baby mamas is a red flag. Any nigga with a baby mama is a red flag.
If the bitch got her phone on D&D all the time, that's a red flag at the gate. You're too sneaky. You got shit going on.
Someone who doesn't listen, like they're there, but they don't actually listen to what you say, and you can tell that they're not present. If you're not present, red flag.
A bitch that need reassurance every 5 seconds, red flag. She gotta go.
Red flag.
You gotta go. Bye-bye.
People is texting only. So people that only want to have a texting relationship, like, no, I'm too old to just be texting with you and getting that random, hello beautiful, good morning beautiful message. Nah, and especially if they don't use my name in the messages. So my name is Dolores, use my whole name.
If that bitch ain't getting no money, twin, it's over with.
I avoid a lot of red flags. For instance, I don't like women who is not open and honest, right? And that's one of the red flags, because they ask you a lot of questions but don't answer the questions, right?
Inconsistency and bad communication. And then if you don't have a good relationship with your parents, that's not gonna work.
Not having a job.
When they only can talk in the daytime.
So red flags I'd say to avoid in a relationship is like people who are too clingy. That's like, that's gonna get toxic, so avoid that.
When a woman is disrespectful, that's a red flag off the rip. You know what I mean? Especially if I just met her. You know what I mean? Because when you first meet somebody, the most thing you're supposed to have for them is respect. You know what I mean? Like when I meet you, as I met you today, you said, "Excuse me. Hey, I got such and such going on." That was respectful. Same thing that applied to him applies to the woman. Respect is what guys look for, honestly. We don't care about anything else. We don't care how you look. We can shape you up. But, you know what I mean? But respect is what we really look for. You know what I mean? For someone to listen to us, other than our mother and father.
Lying, I would say. I guess if somebody's like with their phone and they're like over here too much, keeping it too close to themselves, I don't trust that at all.
I don't know. I guess if our fingernails or something dirty, if our feet ain't clean or some shit, don't go. That means shit clean.
I feel like lying, they really it. Like, you can tell the truth, I don't really care what else you do doing. Like, just keep it real.
A man talking aggressive to me or any woman. Mama's boys.
When they switch up on you.
Messy bitches.
If they can't spend their own time doing their own thing.
There's several things. One is a person who hits. I'm very a person who don't like another man who hits on a female. Don't like it at all. And another thing is a person who lies a lot.
So I'm gonna name 3 red flags. One of the red flags that I avoid in a relationship is a man that does not fear the Lord. And when I say fear the Lord, I mean a man that has a reverence for Jesus Christ, right? Because how can a man truly love you and honor you and direct you if he don't even fear Jesus and allow God to lead him? The second red flag I don't look for it, but that I try to be careful of when it comes to a man is a man that is very disrespectful. I was abused growing up, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like one sign of a man that he's going to abuse you is when he's been disrespectful with his words, verbal, and then it go from verbal to physical and all of that. The third red sign that I try to avoid when it come to a man is a man that is trying to pressure me to have sex with him when I'm just meeting him. A man that loves you and truly know your worth, he will not try to rush and pressure you to have sex with you. You understand what I'm saying? Because his mind is not focused on just your body. He cares about your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirit.
Lies, for sure. Lies. Gaslighting. When people make you think that you're doing something or you're saying something and you know full well that that's not true, that's a red flag.
I think someone trying to control your time. When you see or when you feel that someone is trying to control your time, that's a red flag. They don't want you to go anywhere. They want you to do what they want. They want you to do what they want to do. Those are red flags that you should avoid.
I'm gonna say lying. And some men like do this little thing where they like say they're gonna do something and not do it. I try to avoid that.
Ego, issues with ego, and lack of communication.
Arguing.
If I notice that someone takes a little situation and blows it up and they can't handle it in the proper way where it's like, okay, hey, here's what's going on, let's figure out how to solve it and just keep going. I think that's something that's really big for me. And then like also, you don't need to have money, but you need to know with what money you got, you know what you're doing with it. Let's be smart about how we manage our money.
Ownership. No lack of self-work or inability to be introspective.
If you don't know how to cook, I'm sorry. Like if I ask you know how to cook and you don't know how to cook, I'm not talking about ramen noodles. You know, if you don't know how to boil water and make rice, if you don't know how to make chicken, I'm not talking about fried chicken. I'm talking about like brown stew chicken, jerk chicken. You know, if you don't even know how to make vegetables. So that's a big red flag. Like if I'm asking you, yo, mama, do you know how to make cabbage? And you're like, what are you talking about cabbage? I'm sorry.
Definitely avoid somebody who can't acknowledge when they are wrong. And even when they do acknowledge it, they have to show that they're willing to change. All right? It's not enough that people just say, I'm sorry. You've got to see real behavioral change. Because you don't want to be in a relationship with someone who does you wrong and doesn't change.
Keeping people out your business. Family, friends, keep your relationship, your marriage if you're married, keep it separate. You know what I mean? Also demand respect, because if you don't demand it, then people will tend to do whatever they want to do. So you got to set the tone in anything that you do in life. A liar, sassiness, you know, a guy that act like a woman, a guy that don't believe in God, or believe in God but saying he don't believe he rose again and died again.
Selfishness is definitely one that I kind of try to stay away from, and bad energy and selfishness for sure.
I would definitely say lack of drive, broke. I know you can definitely, take care of that, fix that, but definitely the drive will compensate for that. So that's a big key point for me to look for.
Men who asking me for money.
Lack of communication. Also brokenness.
Lack of support for my business. Red flag.
Someone who is not generous. I'll say that.
Anything that sounds like a lie. Anything that sounds like a lie. Anything that sounds too good to be true. I think, no, that's not gonna fly.
and I run the other way.
Jealousy, control.
Anyone that is not self-aware. So self-awareness is something that I value most in any type of relationship. And so if you're not self-aware, that's a no for me.
Men who don't listen to what you say, if I have to repeat myself, like if I've told you once, I've told you twice.
I hate a liar. I am a straight shooter. I would rather you tell me the truth and we work it out. But if you lie, you've lost my trust. Someone who can't be honest with you.
For me, it would be lack of communication, someone who is not accountable. Those are red flags for me.
Jealousy and anger.
I would say like very defensiveness, doesn't communicate very well, not self-aware.
Someone that is not a gentleman and kind, and don't open your door, because girl, you deserve everything in the world.
Lack of communication. You gotta communicate to understand and connect, right?
I would say horrible communication and time not spent with that person. And excuses. Excuses is a big red flag for me.
Lack of communication.
Liars.
People that just can't communicate.
If you talk too much or if you're too clingy, I'm not gonna like you, I'm not gonna lie.
Baby girl too friendly.
A person who says that they don't believe in therapy and they don't need therapy, avoid that. Because if you black and you an American, you have experienced some level of trauma. Rather it was primary trauma, meaning it was your own experience, or it was secondary trauma, meaning it was somebody else's, right? And that secondary trauma could look like racism, right? That racism don't belong to you. Oppression, it don't belong to you, but it is something that affects us every single day, right? I talk to my students all the time about environmental microaggressions, right? Again, if you go to a school, all black people go to the school, and all you see is white pictures on the wall, right? That affects you deeper than you probably imagine, right? There was a dog test done years ago by Dr. Psychologist Mehmet and Kenneth Clark, right? And they did the dog test and they showed how black people, how children will look at a doll, a black doll and a white doll, and the black children attributed negative characteristics to the black doll and positive characteristics to the white doll. So again, I want you to understand that even at an early age, that oppression and racism, again, that secondary and that primary trauma is affecting us deeper than we imagine. So if a black person in a relationship says that they don't believe in therapy and they don't need therapy, run.
When a person is vague or they lie to you about questions, because to me you need to ask questions to find out how they are as a person.
I never let a relationship take the backseat to a friendship. You can have a friendship and a relationship, but if that relationship is over, you should maintain that friendship.